Welcome to the Multnomah Athletic Club for the 63rd USHA National Collegiate Handball Championships. My name is Dave Vincent alongside David Fink as we have Martin Mulkerrins coming in from Ireland going up against Daniel Cordova.
Martin, Dave, has won this championship 3 consecutive years, defeating Daniel Cordova in an unprecedented 3 straight years in a row. Now they're meeting for the 4th time, the final match of both their collegiate careers. Both guys, Dave, 22 years old. Martin looking to win his 4th title in as many tries. Daniel looking to win his 1st. It's a huge match for both guys.
The U.S. Handball Association, the national governing body of the sport, their handball mission is to organize, promote, and spread the joy of handball. It's the perfect game, and we have the guys getting up to center court right now, and that first serve is underway.
Martin Mulkerrins stepping in to serve here, Dave, seeking his 4th consecutive USHA Collegiate Singles Championship. You can see, Dave, there's so many fans here courtside and over top of the court, literally hundreds of fans. And Dave, this is a partisan type crowd where you're actually going to be rooting for your guy. A lot of players from Ireland and also a lot from Lake Forest will be cheering on Martin and Danny here respectively.
Our referee, Nick Flores, plays down at the Lloyd Center down the street, just called that short second serve. This is the first collegiate tournament ever played on ESPN. And
amazing passing
that ball
shot
just
there
flattened
from
out
Danny.
right there with a natural hook.
And that was intentional. Danny wants to keep it off that left side wall. Perfect passing shot.
Boy, look at that serve, and that's going to be appealed from Mulkerrins.
There is no video replay here. I thought it was short.
I did too, but let's see what it says here. That looked like it was on the inside of the line. Not quite sure from that angle. This one right here will show us.
Yeah, I definitely thought that was short.
It looks short there as well, but I believe they called that a point.
Dave, we've seen that on this very court in the past. Remember the 2009 World Championship, Paul Brady and Alan Garner, where there was some controversy to start that match with the short calls. They had to replace appeals officials.
Right.
And that was the same situation. A guy from Texas, which is Danny Cordova, and an Irish guy, Martin Mulkerrins.
Just hope that that doesn't happen here. This is one of the cleanest tournaments you could possibly ever be a part of, the Collegiate National Championships. Martin Mulkerrins, left hand, slides in, doesn't get it. Another point here for Cordova.
And Dave, for those watching, saying, well, this is probably a difficult court to play. You've got the amazing serve, the glass sidewall and the glass back wall. It is difficult to see in there, Dave, and that's why this serve from Danny Cordova will be so effective throughout this match, being able to reverse it and hit the natural, because you do lose the ball into that side wall.
This should be a setup for Martin. He goes down low, hits Danny across the middle of the court.
But look at how Martin just doesn't make a fluid swing there, because I think he loses the ball in that back corner.
I mean, I hate to
for
say
that
it,
split
but
second.
Can you call that unavoidable if he's standing straight in front of him like that?
I don't think so. I think Martin was going for the right corner, and at the last second had to change his shot.
And keep Martin in the backcourt. Good strategy from Cordova. That's an overhit. Terrible shot. Martin should put this away.
And Martin hits it in the floor. Dave, circle that one on your scorecard, because I expect this to be a very close game, and you just can't make mistakes like that.
I mean, so far to start this match, it's just been all Danny in the server's box. And with that amazing serve, you just can't do that.
Second serve.
And there's an error from Danny, and that box, Dave, in the left part of the front wall does come into play, particularly on the serve.
Martin had to get kind of skinny over there on that side glass so the ball can get by him without a hinder. Watch it on the replay here. Watch where he has to get, yep, whoops, don't want that ball to hit me. Score 1-5. Martin Mulkerrins coming in from Ireland.
Both these guys, Dave, 22 years old, and believe it or not, despite living 10,000 miles apart, they both have roots in Texas. Danny Cordova growing up in El Paso and just over the border in Juarez, Mexico. Martin Mulkerrins spent a semester at Texas A&M.
I like that shot right there from Danny. Inside out down the right wall. Just after, I don't know if you noticed it there, Danny was talking to Martin right before he served that.
Oh, I can guarantee it was not trash talk. These two are the nicest gentlemen in the sport.
Dave, this whole place here at the Multnomah Athletic Club is completely packed, full of college students, co-eds, organizers, and just regular handball players coming down to see amazing handball. What a fun environment.
2 serves, 5.
At 2-5 here, Mulkerrins serving.
And Dave will see probably a replay here. Martin seems to step right into this return of serve. Well, Danny had the whole right side of the court there. I think he tried to go behind Martin there, trying to catch him coming back to the middle.
Look at that return kill from Cordova, representing Lake Forest College. What a powerhouse they've been throughout the years.
Wow. Is that the shot of the year? Dave, look at this.
Let's watch
Open
the replay.
stance, over the top, a completely flat rollout. 30 feet, and then follows it up with a 2-foot hop away from Martin.
This is where you call a timeout, right? I mean, if I were playing, I'd be calling a timeout right here. That amazing hop serve from Danny Cordova, followed by that awesome over-the-top flat mouse. I like that hop serve that goes right at your opponent, but you can't stand in the middle of the court when you do it. Danny's going to go low again. And it looks like Martin's finally taking that timeout that we're talking about, Dave. The John Sabo Senior Memorial and Bob and Sue Delaney Collegiate Handball Scholarships are now available. Contact the USHA or find out more information at ushandball.org. The 65th U.S. National Handball Championships, the four-wall championships, are going to be held at Fountain Valley's Los Caballeros, beautiful SoCal, and that's going to be a lot of fun. June 9th through the 14th, a little bit earlier this year. And that is certainly going to attract a lot of players. Enter to play in the tournament or come watch the very best in the world compete against the backdrop of beautiful Southern California. You're watching the USHA Collegiate National Handball Championships 63rd edition here in Portland, Oregon at the beautiful Multnomah Athletic Club. That timeout is now done, and Danny Cordova stepping back into the box. This ball's going to be a huge setup for Danny. A little bit of contact, no call.
Amazing shot from Martin. It's a very difficult shot. The revolving door high with the left. That's not a shot that you can really even practice.
Nor teach.
2 serves, 8.
Both of these players doing a fairly good job of keeping their opponents away from the offense, but Danny just seems to be a little bit more offensive-minded than Martin, and I think that's why you see the difference in the score here. Both with similar games, though, Dave.
And Martin should have just started walking back there to receive that serve as soon as he hit this shot here. As it's all she wrote. Once you pin yourself behind your opponent, leave that kind of setup.
8 serves, 2.
There's another one of those right corner kills. We should start a little ledger on how many times we're going to see that in this final, because that seems to be his favorite first strike or rally ending shot.
Let's see if Danny appeals here. I thought it was short as well.
Well, doesn't seem like it's an issue to anybody. There's that left-handed kill shot from Martin right down the middle. Really good looking form from that angle. like Martin can pull out some of that power when he needs to. Overhit there to Danny's left.
And Dave, that was not one of the best rallies of the match, but it was one of the longest. Ended with the Daniel Cordova air. He stood straight up there and just about spiked that ball into the ground.
Yeah, it looked a little sloppy from here. Martin starting to pick it up just a little bit. Change of momentum, you can kind of feel it right now. We're at the Multnomah Athletic Club, otherwise known as the MAC, Portland, Oregon. Collegiate National Handball Championships, 63rd by the USHA, and that's another crazy, weird bounce, or just the way it looked to Martin when it comes off that side glass. It's like an optical illusion, and he was completely fooled. Dave, you've played on this court. Does it bug you, that side glass?
I don't like it.
But as a lefty, do you find yourself just hitting that great serve of yours down the left, down that wall?
Yeah,
to an
but
advantage?
then it's hard to pick up the return for the first strike kill because you lose the ball in that glass. I think it's a bigger disadvantage to a lefty because it takes away your strong hand.
Danny digs that ball out. Martin goes with the overhand tomahawk. Danny back down here, flips it up to the right side, down into the ground. Just really lazy feet there from Mulkerrins, who looks...
Martin's been trying to improve his fly kill game, and you can see there he just doesn't quite have the timing on that fly kill.
11-4.
Martin's let a lot of balls that he could have flied kill go, particularly those three-wall wraparound shots that are right into Martin's wheelhouse with his right hand. He's letting them bounce in the back court. I think if he watches this, Dave, he'll realize he probably needs to take those out of the air.
You heard the score there from our referee, Nick Flores.
Four serves, 11.
It's been kind of rare to see Martin Mulkerrins in the server's box, but he's starting to get something going here.
Second serve.
Looked like Danny tried to take a little bit off of that. Came up way short. Hard to take something off of a sidearm swing.
Scoreboard says 5-11. Dave, who has the most pressure here? Is it the guy that won 3 times in a row, or the one that's lost 3 times in a row trying to seek his first one on his senior year in college?
I think you could argue that both are under some pressure, but it's really all about the pressure that you put on yourself, and I don't think either of these guys put a lot of pressure on themselves. They play each match for what it is.
Martin does not look happy with the referee here for not calling that screen. And that's one of the last things you want to do as a player, is to have to lobby to a referee. And you can see the body English from Martin right here. Kind of a half look at the referee. That's pretty big for Martin Mulkerrins. But you know, as a referee, Dave, you just want the players to play through, you know, because as a player yourself, usually the referees are. They don't want every play to end in a hinder or a screen. Nice shot there.
Danny has to stay down there, and Martin does what he needs to do.
Just a mild lift right here from Danny, right there. But I think he's lifting to get out of the way, and Martin hits it down that right wall.
It's a good serve from Martin.
Sounds like that ball's breaking. Either that or these guys are just hitting the ball harder than it looks on TV. Martin again looks like he's fooled getting out of the box there, and either that's the sidewall glass or, like you said, maybe he's a little under the weather.
I think it has a lot to do with that sidewall glass. You lose it for a split second. Those sharp angle pinches are the hardest to pick up. Remember, Dave, these guys played for the first time in 2012 in Springfield, Missouri in the finals, both as freshmen. And it was Mulkerrins winning that match 11-10 in the tiebreaker for his first collegiate title. Daniel led 10-7 in that tiebreaker.
Oh, look at that. Revolving door, right corner kill from Daniel Cordova. Back in the box.
11 serve 6.
You're watching the 63rd United States Handball Association's National Collegiate Handball Championships here in Portland, Oregon. What a beautiful sight. Tons of co-eds from around the country and around the world, for that matter, as they watch the men's finals between Daniel Cordova, representing Lake Forest College, as he is a student athlete there, All-American, and then UCD's, University College Dublin, is Martin Mulkerrins, who's making his 4th visit to the finals throughout his amazing collegiate career. The 65th United States Handball Association's National Four-Ball Handball Championships will be held in Fountain Valley, California, Los Caballeros Sports Village, from June 9th through the 14th. You can enter to play in the tournament or come and watch the best in the world compete against the backdrop of beautiful Southern California. More information at ushandball.org. That's www.ushandball.org. Or you can also purchase your official 21 handballs. They are available there as well. And you can see the full list of handball tournaments on their calendar, which is what we do regularly. My name is Dave Vincent, sitting right here alongside Dave Fink, bringing you this conclusion of the first game, 12-6, Daniel Cordova in the lead. Going to 21, tiebreaker played to 11. Oh, that was...
And we saw that happen to Martin earlier with his left hand. The ball just sort of jumped away from him. It was moving so slowly that it's really surprising that he didn't get a swing on that.
That's had a crazy bounce.
Oh, and look at that. You'd have to say lucky shot from Martin, who's pinned back there 38 feet. Daniel probably should have been running forward. That was the only shot Martin had, just floating the ball back to the wall.
Nice dive, push to the backcourt. Should be a big enough setup for Martin Mulkerrins. Blasts it by Cordova. Tries to flip it back, unable to get to the front wall, and there's another point for Mulkerrins. Look at this replay here. It looked like Martin was a little fooled off the sidewall again. I thought this would be a flat rollout for Martin. Instead, he decides to push it past Cordova. That ball broke finally. Kind of thought it would happen too long ago to predict it correctly, but these guys are really pouncing on this ball here. Multnomah Athletic Club. Dave, you can see there's viewers, spectators right up in the upper loft looking down into this court. Lower seating as well on the side left, and then behind the court there's lower seating. And then, of course, here on ESPN and the Watch ESPN app, watching around the world. You know, it's really cool to be here courtside on what I would consider the best show court to film handball. Certainly the Washington Athletic Club's great as well, but here you get this, looks like we're just looking through a window at these players here on center court. Camera work by Jeff Kastner and Kastner Productions.
This court seems to bring out the best in the biggest matches. We saw in 2009 when the World Championships were held there. Some of the best matches in recent memory, certainly some of the best of this century, where it was Paul Brady taking out Alan Garner in an 11-7 tiebreaker. Before that, Alan Garner defeating Owen Kennedy and Dave Chapman and Luis Moreno en route to the final. All those very close matches.
Ball broke on the serve, so the short is negated. You have 2 serves. 8 serves 12.
Score here is 8-12. You're right. This has had a lot of historic tournaments.
We're not seeing a lot of first strike kills here from either guy.
12 serves, 8.
Oh, look at that hop serve. That's a natural hook. Goes underneath the ball right there.
And maybe Danny's found something now on his serve. Let's see. Sometimes you just get that feel.
Oh, that one completely fools Martin. Slips on what could have been his own sweat from an earlier dive. I'm not sure. Maybe he's just covering that up
Yeah,
a little bit.
That was a pro move. And Danny, after 2 completely incredible aces, gives Martin a slight opening, and Martin drives a pass shot straight on the right wall for the side out.
Second serve coming. That could have been a dangerous shot. Danny could have left that a little bit shorter, and Martin could have gone for that kill shot. Look at that.
Martin's having a lot of success with the passing shot down the left, hopping it away from Danny.
I think Martin's sensing that his A game isn't here today, so did Danny just screen in front of Martin?
I don't think
shot?
so. That was just a miss hit, and that's been the problem for Martin. Hasn't been able to build any momentum. Every time he wins a couple of points, makes an error, and he takes himself out of the server's box.
Wow, nice shot, but nice dig from Cordova.
Martin using a modified Irish whip on his left hand, Dave. You don't see many two-handed Irish whip players. And that time Martin with a traditional sidearm swing with the left. So you see he's got a lot of variation on his swings. He plays different codes. He plays the 60-by-30 big alley game also, Dave, which requires a different kind of swing.
Martin barely picks that ball up. Martin's standing really tall here during those back wall shots. He's going to let this rip, though, down right to the right wall, 2 inches high, kill shot. That's what Martin needs to do to win these rallies. I have a feeling that his little narrow passageway of those kill shots, he has to take them when he has them. Lately, he's been kind of leaving it up. We're at 10 to 14, within 4 points. That striking distance has been trailing the whole match.
Started the match losing 9 of the first 11 points. Trailed by 7, now trails by 4.
Love that camera angle, Dave. Using an ultra-wide GoPro up in the loft.
Now Martin's starting to string together some winning rallies.
Serves 14.
11 to 14 on the scoreboard. Game number 1. Back to the roof. There's a miss hit and a timeout called from Danny Cordova. I think it's a pretty smart timeout there as Martin pulls in at 12 to 14 here.
And now it's Martin staying in the court, Dave. You remember previously when Martin called his timeouts after losing consecutive rallies, he left the court. This time, Danny, who stayed in the court during those Mulkerrins timeouts, goes outside of the court. Maybe he received from coaching from either his head coach or one of his
Danny
Martin gets away with a terrible serve there. He's trying to hit the left side wall and misses it. And that was a pretty big setup, and Denny hits Martin in the back.
Martin doesn't seem to be very happy right now. Just his whole mannerisms. He got hit by that ball, and he just kind of threw his head up in the air and looked the other way like, what are you doing hitting me with that?
And Martin, once again, as he's creeping up on the lead, makes another back wall error.
I think Martin's going to watch this back later, and whether he wins or loses, he'll be a little upset with himself. So I see a lot of opportunities, and I guess the same could be said about Danny Cordova, win or lose. I mean,
Well,
this
David,
is not perfect handball today.
Well, it looks easy from here, but you know, both these guys are very quick, and they know each other's games extremely well. So to win rallies with kill shots, you really do have to hit the perfect shot.
That's a good return there from Mulkerrins. Wow, that's a nice shot from Martin. Blasts it down the right side. Cordova unable to catch up to it in time.
13 serves 14.
Now just 1 point away.
Just about back where we started about 45 minutes ago.
Now we are. And I don't know if that was a smart timeout from Danny Cordova, because since that timeout, Martin just continued this onslaught.
I think you know what I think about timeouts. A waste of everyone's time. That's what they should be called.
Well, here in the broadcast booth, we take, you know, that time to pass notes and
Yeah. You know, we do a lot of chatting about our upcoming announcing.
Martin could have probably left his feet there, doesn't do it. Danny in the server's box.
Just seems like Martin needs to pick up his intensity a little bit.
14 serves 14.
I mean, we're tied at 14 and we're criticizing Martin for his intensity, but it really does seem like he's not pushing as hard as we've seen him play previously.
Line judges.
And that serve was way short. Danny appeals it, but this was inside the line.
Yeah, that's
Second serve.
3 inches short or so on that second serve, rightly so. The judges did not get it wrong, and that's a nice little dump underhand kill from Danny Cordova. Nothing he can really do with that ball, but what he did do with it was absolutely perfect,
15 serves 14.
if that makes sense.
Martin takes that with his left. And Danny now in control of the rally.
Nice call. Martin.
That time Martin leaves his feet, Dave, and unable to get his hand under that ball before the second bounce.
Let's take a look here. The ball did bounce twice. Martin flips his little paw up in the air. Now we're back into the box here. That looked like it was short.
And the fist pump pretty much says that it was.
Yeah, but referee called it a point, and there's no appeal, and we're not replaying it.
And Dave, Martin ties this game at 14 and then all of a sudden loses 4 straight points in 4 straight rallies.
Now at 18-14 here in this timeout.
Yeah, it was really anyone's game at 14-all. In fact, it seemed like Martin had the momentum when he tied the score at 14 after trailing throughout that first game. But all of a sudden, Daniel Cordova with a quick side out at 14-all, and he scored 4 straight points without Martin stepping into the server's box. Now he leads 18-14. Seems like he's completely in control here late in the first game.
Yeah, now Cordova stepping back into the box. Let's see how the conclusion of this one is. Going to fair out. There's another reverse. Boy, it seems like that's just such a great shot back there. So hard to hit in that deep court. And Martin fooled again.
And Dave, you see it time and time again. A player calls a timeout and loses the next rally almost every time. And you're saying, well, you have to try something, because if you don't at least call a timeout, but you'll find that the statistics will show that not calling a timeout actually increases your chances of winning the next rally.
First serve, one screen.
In this match, 100% of the time, the person calling a timeout has lost the next rally.
Cordova just a couple points away from taking game number 1. Should be a huge setup for Martin. Goes down to the left side and gets the side out.
Side out.
Cordova apologizes for that.
Martin didn't seem
contact.
thrilled with that contact after the play either.
No, it just doesn't seem like he's thrilled at all.
14 serves 19.
A little aggravated.
Yeah, he wasn't happy. Wow.
Now that is one heck of a shot. Martin Mulkerrins, left-handed flat roll on the left sidewall. Let's take a look here on ESPN. Dave, this is
Seems like he's had a lot of opportunities to do just that in this match and hasn't taken them. He's taken that shot and punched to the ceiling many times during this first game.
First miss right there from Danny, and Martin puts it in the ground. Soon as, just like you said, as soon as he gets something going, Martin does something to let himself down and out of that server's box.
I think that will be just about the end of this first game for Martin Davis. His fifth air off the back wall with his right hand, and that one coming at just a terrible time for him. Now trailing 19-15. He makes that shot at 16-19. He's right in this first game. He's serving.
Oh,
now
look at
Daniel,
that.
with his sixth ace serve of this first game. That's compared to 0 for Martin.
Here it is, game point. I just really thought Martin might go for that one a little bit more, dive into that side wall, try to prevent this first game from going to Danny Cordova, but he doesn't do it. Danny goes over the top, hits a perfect kill shot, wins the first one, and defeats Martin Mulkerrins here in Portland, Oregon in game number 1. You're watching this 63rd USHA National Collegiate Handball Championships on ESPN and the Watch ESPN app. My name is Dave Vincent alongside David Fink with the World Players of Handball, giving you the coverage on ESPN. Portland, Oregon at the MAC Club, where Martin Mulkerrins, who's won 3 years in a row, finds himself losing the very first game to Danny Cordova. And there's a replay of some of the stuff that got Danny all those points.
Yeah, that was one of the best shots we've seen all year. And here's a passing shot from Martin. Dave, that was really his biggest weapon here in this first game. You'll see a corner kill there from Daniel. Martin winning the majority of his points on passing shots. Now here's an amazing left-handed kill. And Dave, that's just about the prettiest shot that you could ever see. And this is the game winner for Daniel. Excuse me, Dave, that was early in the first game. That was just the second point.
Yeah, but it looked a lot like that last one.
Yeah, but here is the game winner. And Dave, you said maybe Martin could have dove in there, but that bounced twice before it even hit the side wall.
Had that back right camera angle.
No chance.
Looked like it was a little bit closer to Martin, but he was pretty far away. Martin knew that he couldn't get to that ball. John Sabo Senior Memorial and Bob and Sue Delaney Collegiate Handball scholarships are available. Contact the USHA or find more information at ushandball.org. That's the same website that you'll go to find all of the USHA gear that you could buy, to include the ball that the boys are playing with right now, the 21 ball. Go to ushandball.org to find out more. And don't forget about the 65th USHA Four-Wall National Championships at Los Caballeros Sports Village in Fountain Valley, California. That's going to be June 9th through the 14th. Enter to play in the tournament or come and watch the best players in the world all converge to the show court there at Los Cab. That's June 9th through the 14th. More information at ushandball.org. Game number 2, we're underway.
That's an incredible tournament there, Dave, and I'm sure we'll see both these guys there. Dave, you talked a little bit about who's under more pressure here. If it was Martin, certainly the pressure has to be off now. He didn't play well in that first game. I think you'll see a different Martin Mulkerrins here in this second game, probably a lot more aggressive.
He's definitely going to have to be more aggressive to win, because that stuff like that, that's what we need to see Martin do in order to tighten the score up a little bit, I think.
Well, Dave, I think the easiest game to play is the game right after you've played terribly and lost the game. Really, you feel like, you know, I can't really play any worse, so I'm just going to go in there and just let it rip. Maybe we'll see that from Martin.
Martin got that?
It looks like he'll win this rally, too.
I don't know about that. Boy, Danny Cordova really takes center court over after he shoots the shot. I think that might be what's aggravating Martin a little bit. No call from the referee, little slight screen. Martin fooled again for some reason. And we don't know if Martin has a bad back or any type of injury, but it seems like he's just slow getting out of the box. That ball was on the right side away from the glass.
Well, there have been rumors that Martin's been a little bit under the weather. Remember, he came straight from San Francisco where he took the ferry to Alcatraz, Dave. He actually played some handball at Alcatraz.
And another ball hits Daniel Cordova. That time, though, I think it was a mishit from
I don't think that was going to make it. David, is hat day at the Multnomah Athletic Club. And Daniel took full advantage.
That ball just slicing down the right wall.
Dave, I don't know what would look more awkward, a baseball player not wearing a hat or a handball player actually wearing a hat on the four-wall court. Remember Dave Wild thing, pitching in spring training without his hat. His manager told him we wear hats and sleeves at this level. But we don't wear hats at this level in handball. On hat day. Strange air there from Daniel.
2 serves 1.
That ball just slid, checked up, and died.
What do you do differently there, Dave, if you're Martin?
I think you have to tack instead of trying to go back to the back court to play that ball. I mean, you already know it's going to give you troubles, fits in that black hole.
Yeah.
I think you just have to take it as quick as you can get it.
Perfect point from Daniel. Just controlled every shot during that rally.
2 serves 2.
There's another great serve right there from Cordova. When you have your opponent diving for a serve, there's another reverse. Take a look at this really quick here, Dave.
And that's so frustrating there if you're Daniel, because you're just trying to guide the ball down the right wall and then you clip the right side wall. Just a terrible shot.
Yeah, and you find yourself out of position as well because you don't expect it to do that, so you're about 3 or 4 steps behind where you normally would be standing. Martin pushing that ball right back at Danny.
I think you can say the intensity's actually ratcheted up here early in this second game.
Oh, look at that. Behind the back. Flip to the right corner, and the crowd puts their hands together. Let's look at that on the replay here. Martin behind the back, goes for the elite kill, checks up right wall. Look at that.
That's the second behind the back shot Martin's hit in this second game, and that shows you how much Daniel's hopping the ball. That Martin is so fooled, he's having to hit the ball behind his back. Wow.
Oh, we've seen it with the right hand earlier, that right corner kill from Cordova. Now we see it with the left hand. That was a beautiful shot, Dave.
Another reverse there. Looked like it might have been short. Perfect touch on the passing shot. Dave, you notice that when the server loses the point, he does not appeal the serve.
2 serves 3.
I think that's something these guys will learn as they play a little bit more handball.
And now Martin looks like he's on a roll. Would Danny consider the timeout here, Dave? I know that you don't like the timeouts, and I know all the stats, but these guys don't know all of that.
Oh, they should. If I was going to a tournament, I'd want to know everything I could possibly know about the stats. So all I can say is they should know them.
4 serves 3.
Now we're at 4-3. Martin
This is Martin's first lead of the tournament, Dave, believe it or not.
Yeah, Martin hasn't looked good, really, kind of up and down. Right now he looks like he's playing good handball.
But let's give Daniel a lot of credit, Dave, who's really stepped up his game over the last couple months in particular.
There's another ball that hits Cordova.
Remember, Dave, Daniel did play in 2 pro stops in 2015, coming into this tournament, finished in 5th in Houston, and then goes to San Francisco just last week and finished 7th.
Then after this, he's going to go to New York, where Martin hasn't entered yet. Not sure if we'll see him there. That's a nice left-handed flip. Martin goes back down the right side, going back and forth. That ball was a little taste of Cordova's medicine as that hopped back into young Danny.
4 serves 3.
Puts Mulkerrins back in the box.
Could have been a screen call, not called, but Danny just flubs that return completely.
5 serves 3.
Kind of thing where you just change your mind in the middle of your swing.
Mulkerrins starting to get a little bit more intense with his emotions here. This is a kid that
6 serves 3.
doesn't really express many emotions, Dave.
And Dave, these guys are hitting each other a lot with the ball. Each of them has been hit now 3 times on the return of serve. And I just don't see really much of a reason for it. Martin gave him the whole court there. That was just over the line. Or was it?
You mean the serve?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant getting hit by the ball was over the line.
Oh.
Boy, Martin hits a nice shot, but Danny retrieves it.
Danny leaves his feet there. And this is the first time that we'll see a little bit of a break after a rally.
It was Danny leaving the feet that clearly was 2 bounces, and
I think he dove too soon there. One of those things, Dave, where he could have run a step or 2 and then dove, but he just left his feet.
you're watching the 63rd USHA Collegiate National Handball Championships. My name is Dave Vincent. There's a great look right there of Katrina Casey, our women's champion, alongside David Fink here for the United States Handball Association and ESPN. It's nice having you along, Dave, for this men's finals with Martin Mulkerrins playing pretty impressive here in game number 2. And there's another ball that hits. And Danny has the gall to tell the referee that he thinks it should be an avoidable hinder. Danny's been the one doing that to Martin, it seems like, throughout the beginning.
Sometimes, Dave, as a returner of serve, you think that the server's in your way when, in fact, the video shows that he was 5 feet from being in your way. It's just one of those strange anomalies. And now you see Martin pumping himself up, and he pumps himself up, but yet takes the timeout. He's going to receive some counsel from his coaching staff, which includes Desi Keegan, who's been a top player both in the United States and Ireland for the past 10 or 12 years.
Well, we just had a timeout and one play basically, and then now we're going to another timeout here. But I think, you know, Martin, could he get too emotional for a guy that doesn't show any type of emotion whatsoever? Could he get a little bit too emotional?
No, I don't think so. I think Martin needs to get more emotional, Dave. But we heard about the rumors of Martin not feeling that well, and you saw him coughing there during that timeout. As you get a look at our Sportsmanship Award winner there, Dave, from Arizona State. But Dave, Martin really seems like he's soaking in whatever it is his coaching staff is telling him.
Well, how could you not listen to big old Desi Keegan, Dave? I mean, that's imposing, that guy.
Certainly a very interesting, lovable guy. Just recently married. Congratulations to him and his bride. But Dave, it'll be Mulkerrins coming in here trying to force the tiebreaker. I don't want to say uninspired in the first game, Dave, but he didn't have his best stuff.
Well, he did look like he had a cold in that first game, but here it looks like he's starting to break. That was a beautifully executed shot down the right wall from Mulkerrins.
Got his feet set that time and stepped with his front foot at 45 degrees, and he's played a little bit too open at the front wall, I think, on a lot of these kill shot attempts.
There's the skinned up knees of young Cordova flying around the court. Remember, in the old days we used to say it was the flying Cordovas because he and his brother Luis seemed like they were on the floor as much as off. And there's another ball hitting the server. Well, at least they're consistent. Great
One thing
serve.
you could say, Dave, is if they were hitting better serves, they wouldn't be hitting each other with the return. So some of it has to do with these serves that are hanging up off the side walls and coming around the revolving doors.
Yeah, but Cordova is a serve artist, and when you hop the ball, you are certainly going to get hit by the ball a lot. But I agree with you, not the best returns you've ever seen in a match. Back to the roof. Boy, see how Martin kind of went across in front of Danny there? That was a great shot from Danny Cordova. Dove in with a punch fist, pushing it to the right side deep. Martin can't get the ball off the side wall. And that got the crowd to put their hands together. 5-9 is the score here in game number 2. That ball, did it make it on that crack serve?
Just short. Danny appeals it.
One agrees, one disagrees.
One agrees, one disagrees. Danny really wanted that one.
Terrible air there, Dave, trying to come over a fist just slightly and reverse it down the left, and instead he hits it straight into the ground.
There's that fadeaway reverse hook. Martin doesn't look like he's bending his legs there enough.
Well, that is Martin's style. He can hit really good shots standing what seems like almost straight up.
That was, had the makings of a great serve right there, but it was short.
Martin with that amazing left-handed kill. His left-handed kill, Dave, has been a lot more dangerous in this match than his right-handed kill, and he's taken a lot less attempts with the left.
Oh, that's a good serve. That looked Danny Cordova-esque. The ball fades away to the deep left corner, and a nice little natural hook, too, from Martin Mulkerrins with power. 10-7.
And apparently, Dave, whatever Desi told Martin is working.
It's really quiet in here.
It was Danny who led 11-7 in game 1, went on to win 21-15. Now Martin's leading 11-7 in game 2, trying to force a tiebreaker. Wouldn't say, Dave, that Martin has all the momentum right now, but he's in the driver's seat in this second game.
Oh, that's a nice shot right there from Danny Cordova.
Daniel just did some backseat driving though, Dave. Gets the side out.
This preview brought to you by ESPN. Right down the barrel of the gun as Danny Cordova takes it off the back wall, lets his feet and his knees bend and hits the perfect kill shot. Comes right back in, gets another point.
And a terrible error there for Martin on the return of serve.
Referee calling that over. Boy, it looks like Martin just missed an opportunity there.
Well, it's been really a match of missed opportunities, I think, for both guys.
Replay, 8 serves 11.
There was another missed shot from Cordova. Wow.
Daniel is right in front of him, ready to re-kill here. And I mean, Martin's facing the side wall there, Dave. How does he hit that shot?
I don't know. It was like Danny dared him and he said, okay, I'll take it.
Kind of a party ball back there.
This is a good rally here. Boy, Martin looked like he just wanted to push that down the right wall, and it checked up halfway through. Danny did to Martin what Martin tried to do to Danny. That was a long rally.
8 serves 11.
Neither of these guys breathing hard, and another ball right into the back of Danny Cordova.
Can't recall ever seeing players hit one another with the ball this many times in just 1.5 games. And a great ace serve, a double bounce on the reverse into that left corner. That's probably the best serve you can hit, particularly on this court.
There's another good one there. That ball slid down the wall. Big setup here for Martin Mulkerrins. Over hits that ball. Danny should be able to get it. A little bit of contact. Boy, that was just all messed up there. Martin apologizing to Danny. I'm not so sure that should have been replayed, though. Martin got so far out of position and then was rewarded with a screen. Uh-oh. That was an ace serve, Dave. Look at this.
Well, Martin may have heard the screen call during his swing and kind of let up on his swing.
Yeah,
but regardless, the referee can't take that back. Not if he thought it changed Martin's swing.
Yeah, maybe we're hearing a slight delay in our headphones, but I swear I heard him say screen after Martin cued that off the side of his fist. But that's what you get when you are returning a serve from a hop artist, such as Cordova. 11-9 is the score.
Martin goes for that deep court revolving door kill once again. That time he misses it badly.
9 serves 11.
There's another reverse. Smart shot right there from Cordova. Now at 10-11 here. And just when it looked like Martin was starting to walk away, Danny a serve away from tying the score.
10 serves 11.
Wisely changed the angle of that 2-wall serve. get that back.
Well, you could do it, but you have to break your finger to do it.
Wow.
Oh, that's impressive there. Martin Mulkerrins with a flat roll out down the right wall. Look
Martin
at this.
plays this spin off the sidewall perfectly.
12 serves 10.
See if that pumps up Martin Mulkerrins. And some more emotion.
And now a timeout from Danny. These timeouts have proven to be not helpful at all for either player, but they continue to call them.
You would have to think after these long extended rallies that these guys do need to get a water break and change a shirt and that sort of thing, right, Dave?
Well, I'm not seeing any shirt changes.
You're watching the Collegiate National Handball Championships, 63rd edition from the USHA in Portland, Oregon, at the Multnomah Athletic Club. Dave Vincent alongside Dave Fink here on ESPN and the Watch ESPN app. The coverage courtesy of the World Players of Handball, just down the street from the Hall of Fame of the United States Handball Association. Martin Mulkerrins, athlete with the University College of Dublin, and Danny Cordova representing Lake Forest College, and that was short.
Line judges. Both agree.
That ball was really short.
Second serve.
Oh,
Wow.
That's another one of those great shots from Martin, and followed by his stereotypical hand slap. Dave, that's beautiful.
Well, he hit that as the ball merged with the side wall and still hit it over 80 miles per hour.
Both of these guys are about the nicest you can ever encounter. Look at that little punch right there from Cordova.
Martin went for pass shots twice there with big setups in his right hand.
Oh, that's so tough. I don't know what else Martin could have done, but maybe he could have taken that early. Easy to say now.
10 serves 14.
Scoreboard says 10-14. That ball was short. But Martin, and I feel sad for him here in that sense, he has to play that short ball because the referee is calling him so late. Both of these players are having to kind of go after everything.
And we haven't seen Daniel make a lot of errors, but he makes a crucial one there as he's trying to mount a comeback here in this second game.
It almost appeared like he was trying to guide that one in. Ah, look at that.
Dave, that's Martin's fourth self 5 here in this second game. That's a good sign for Mulkerrins fans.
15 serves 10.
Well, he's definitely putting on a show with his winners.
Oh, and another left fist error from Martin. To me, Dave, it seems like that's the most difficult shot he could attempt from that spot. Could easily flip that into the left side wall and hit a wraparound shot. It's a much easier shot. And despite the window taking a lot off of this Martin Mulkerrins passing shot, he has enough on it to get it past Danny Cordova.
15 serves 10.
That's
And
actually
Dave,
a
when
nice
it hits
shot.
that window, it'll actually take about 10 miles per hour off the shot.
Back to the roof, misses it. See what Martin does here with his left. Goes down low, gets it again. Another great shot from Martin, but he didn't throw his fist together there.
Well, that's what Martin's done throughout this match. Ended the rally with his left hand from the deep court. When he goes for it, it's a deadly shot.
16 serves 10.
Heard the score there, 16-10. Two bounces make that 17-10. Starting to look like both of these players are feeling a little bit tired, more so for Cordova. It's been a long week. Look at that serve. Was that just a bad bounce off the hole? Or?
I think Martin should appeal that bad bounce. He can, because I think that serve probably would have carried the line had it not hit the window.
Yikes.
And now Martin's starting to really let loose with all that power, swinging freely.
18 serves 10.
And Dave, you're right, it could be a little bit of fatigue now from Danny Cordova, who's trying to fight off these Martin Mulkerrins bombs.
19 serves 10.
Martin now just 2 points from evening this match and forcing a 11-game finale for the championship. Could have been a screen, not called.
Oh, Martin has probably the easiest shot of the whole day with Danny behind him, barreling forward, and he misses his shot.
Good news for Martin is he's leading 19-10, so you can make those kind of errors when you're up 19-10.
10 serves 19.
Nice serve again from Cordova, who's putting on a clinic today. Unfortunately for him, he finds himself down.
Serves 19.
Just a few minutes ago, Dave, it was 9-11.
Wow, great shot there from Danny.
With Cordova serving, and then he brought it to 10-11. You might remember that. Now it's
12 serves 19.
Now it's only 12-19. So all the scoring's been done by Martin.
What a great return there from Martin.
See if he goes low. Doesn't. And that ball hits Danny right in the side of the head. I think Martin's saying, listen, I'm going to try to wrap this ball around, and why am I hitting him with the ball? See, Danny's moving forward into his shot. Martin's going up and around on that.
You were asking for a avoidable, right?
No, I was just looking at you. What did you think? I thought I had a shot, and he just touched her. I thought you were going to go for it. Just like a shot. Your call.
Yeah, so
Danny's saying, I thought you were going low,
yeah,
which I did as well.
But Martin wasn't going low, clearly going up high. And now the referee's saying, what do you want, an avoidable? And he said, I'm wanting you to make the call. And there's Martin getting it back, and now he looks back at the referee right there to say, it's your call, make the call, but you're not making the right way.
Into my own hands.
Yeah, I'm gonna get upset if you don't call it the right way. You're watching the Collegiate National Handball Championships, and there's another timeout called here on the floor. Let's take a quick look at the replay here.
Oh, I was going to say, I believe Martin Mulkerrins called that timeout.
Yeah, no, I think so as well. Look at that beautiful shot from Martin, slapping his hands together, calling a timeout, coming back into the court here. We've seen Martin play exceptionally well, but we've seen really amazing play from both players. Just as you say that, there's those typical hand errors and positional things that they've made the mistakes on as well.
Well, Martin had that tremendous scoring streak. He led 11-10, stretched that lead to 19-10, and that's been the difference here in this second game. And now make that 20. Martin Mulkerrins just one swing from forcing a tiebreaker. And Dave, this place will erupt if that's to happen.
Okay.
That's called blowing the roof off the Multnomah Athletic Club.
And there it is. And the hands are being put together as Martin Mulkerrins takes down Danny Cordova here in game number 2 and defeats him to force a 11-point tiebreaker, which will be coming up right around the corner. What is Danny going to have to do to get back onto the winning side of things? Because clearly it was Martin Mulkerrins who broke that momentum and started kind of like doing that kind of subtle emotional thing that he was doing by slapping his hands together, but it was very controlled.
Well, Danny looked like he might have been a little bit fatigued there in the second half of that second game, just unable to keep up with Martin's powers. You see one of those magic shots there from Martin. But Dave, the thing about a tiebreaker, it doesn't really matter what happened in the second game or the first game. It's whoever can get off to a good start in that tiebreaker really seizes that momentum, and from there it's usually his game to win. So Daniel will have to focus on getting Martin out of the server's box. Martin will serve first and trying to get that great serve going, and if he does, he's reestablished the momentum in this match and he'll have a good chance. Otherwise, Dave, it'll be Martin Mulkerrins who will continue doing what he did in that second game and will go ahead and win that 4th straight singles championship at the USHA Collegiate Nationals.
Yeah, that's certainly these guys are all aiming for the same thing here, and winning that collegiate title means so much, especially when you travel all 4 years. You've made it to the finals. Danny Cordova obviously wants to get that. Martin Mulkerrins does not want to lose to Danny, and he wants to take it all 4 years, and that's quite a feat in itself. And certainly we'll get to see who will be the victor here, as we have 11 points to decide it as a tiebreaker of the 63rd USHA Collegiate National Handball Championships here in Portland, Oregon on ESPN and the Watch ESPN app, with coverage provided by Jeff Kastner Productions and the World Players of Handball. My name is Dave Vincent alongside David Fink. Now we're going to go back to the court. We're going to toss it there and see the conclusion of this match.
You see a handshake here between these two great competitors. And Dave, there's a certain amount of respect that you develop for an opponent, particularly when you faced 4 years in a row in the finals. It's a really amazing bond that you share.
Thought that was going to be tough, but Danny did have a pretty good look at it. Representing Lake Forest College, Martin Mulkerrins, University College Dublin. And the first striker here is Martin Mulkerrins.
1-0.
Oh, look at that reverse punch fist from Martin, who's almost able to get out of the block, but the referee.
And Martin's going to ask for a hinder here. I think he's justified, because while the referee wisely let the play continue here, Daniel stepped on Martin here, and I think Martin had a chance to actually get up and get this ball. He almost gets it anyway.
Yeah.
I didn't make a call.
So I see what the ref's doing, letting the play continue. He gave Daniel his shot, but Daniel stepped on Martin in his follow-through and prohibited Martin from getting up. And that was definitely a gettable shot. As it stands, though, Danny gets the side out. He'll serve it 0-1 here in this tiebreaker.
A strange start here for game number 3.
And Dave, Daniel has to be nervous starting off this tiebreaker. He's never won this title. It's so close. And sometimes these kind of nerves will actually propel you to play better. We'll see if that's the case here for Daniel.
That ball was short. You saw right after that bad call
Second serve.
from the Martin camp, Martin looks back over to his corner as if to say, what's going on here?
Yeah, you know, it wasn't the worst call, but it was certainly could have been called the other way also. But now it's Danny using that call to his advantage, and he's now scored 2 points in a row.
Boy, that ball's being hit hard. And that was short, Dave, right? No call from anybody, and there's an appeal. And that was so short.
For the first time, we're seeing a server lose the rally and appeal the serve.
Yeah, and that was short. I'm sure Martin is not happy.
Well, things certainly going Daniel's way here early in this tiebreaker.
Little flip back to the front wall. No, Danny calls a wrist ball on himself. And sometimes you get hit there on the wrist, but your glove is covering that spot. And you say it's a wrist ball. Big opening on the right side for Cordova. And another little hand air there.
Just shanked that and had a very good look to win that rally. One of those tough shots where the ball's coming across your body to your left hand. Very rare that you have to play that shot with your left.
Oh boy, Martin's really putting everything he has into it right now to try to get into that server's box and to get points, but Danny's got the momentum.
2 serves, 2.
We're all together at 2, going to 11. This is the tiebreaker. Winner is the national champion.
And once again, Dave, the server hit for the 18th time in this match.
Pretty good shot there from Mulkerrins with the left hand.
Martin's got a sensational left fist to the ceiling, which is kind of a lost art, but he wins the rally despite hitting 2 really nice left-hand fists to the ceiling.
3 serves, 2.
Thought he was going to call a timeout there. Didn't do it. 3-2. Oh, wow.
You can hear the crowd there, Dave. It's deafening now after that Danny Cordova right corner kill that earns him the 4th point. And that one almost hit Martin on the way in.
That was one heck of a shot as we call a timeout here courtside in Portland, Oregon. You're watching the 63rd USHA National Collegiate Handball Championships at the Multnomah Athletic Club in Portland, Oregon. The U.S. Handball Association is the national governing body of handball, and their mission is to organize, promote, and spread the joy of handball, the perfect game. Dave, you're ranked in the top 5. Race for 8 tour. Also doing color commentating and analysis of these games, and you've been playing the game since you were 7, 8 years old, maybe even sooner than that, right?
A lot sooner than that, as a matter of fact.
We've seen at national championships the 9-year-olds and 90-year-olds and every age in between. That's one of the great things about the sport. You can actually play it later in your career. I don't see a lot of 90-year-olds playing football, tackle football.
Yeah.
Or even basketball for that matter. I know some try, but we have a lot of middle-aged to retirement age players as well as young juniors, women, and collegiates and pros in the sport. As we get back in after this timeout, Martin goes up high. That ball might check, doesn't though. Cordova right down the middle.
Loses that one for a split second, gives Danny a setup, and he takes advantage of it.
That was a beautiful shot from Danny down the right wall.
You'll watch Martin, it was the shot before this, but Danny takes advantage of it.
5 serves, 2.
Martin almost got his full hand on that. Look at that ball, but Martin got it back. No call from the referee.
Terrible shot there from Danny, but it's just in the right place. It looked like a screen, but I think the combination of the screen and losing it in that left side wall was enough to force the air.
Yeah, I don't know about that. To me, that's a screen, regardless.
And Martin with soft hands there, and you hear it from his contingency there in Ireland, trying to urge their man across the finish line.
Score here 2-6, and if that is over the line, that was one of the best serves we've seen today.
The finish line is a long way away, though, right now, Dave, for 22-year-old Mulkerrins.
Wow. Great camera work here. Feels like we're inside the court. And there's a hand air. Martin getting another point here. You can feel the tension. Ball hit the crack over there.
Just died right in front of Martin. Wasn't that great a shot, but just good enough.
6 serves 3.
There's another one. 7-3 now.
It's a great hop serve from Danny. And just handcuffed Martin there. 7th point now. 4 points from the championship.
That's a reverse. Not the best that he's had today. Martin goes around Cordova. Cordova slams it down the left wall, and there's another point, and I would take a timeout.
This is a terrible return from Martin. Daniel does not put away, but hits it just low enough that Martin has to stretch and scoop that back up to the front wall. Weak return, and Danny with a great passing shot.
Here it is from that front camera angle. You see Martin go around Danny there, but Danny and Martin just keeps trading places on the court like they're weaving back and forth, with Danny getting the last weave as Martin called that timeout there. You're watching the USHA Collegiate National Handball Championships from the Multnomah Athletic Club in Portland, Oregon, where Danny Cordova trying to win his first in his senior year. As we look at our Sportsmanship Award winner, Bennett from Arizona, Danny Cordova from Lake Forest, and Martin Mulkerrins from the University College of Dublin, who's won 3 consecutive years. And you see the Irish players all huddled over on their side. Giving words of encouragement to their fellow Irishman, Mulkerrins. Eight serves 3 here.
8 serves 3.
Oh, Martin leaning to the left.
It sounded like a strange bounce off the ceiling. Tremendous shot from Daniel with a reverse pass, similar to the shot that he hit to win the second rally of this match.
And there's a fist pump from Cordova. That was a beautiful shot.
And now Daniel just really feeling it, a left-handed fly kill. Very difficult shot, but Dave, when you're feeling it, you go for that shot, make it.
Here it is. This could be it, Dave. And it is. Danny Cordova takes down Martin Mulkerrins, wins his first collegiate championship for the men. Wow, that has to be exciting right there for Cordova and his family watching in Mexico and across this country. That is amazing. Look at the round of applause. I don't recall seeing that in years past.
Well, Danny is really soaking it in, deservedly so. And Dave, he's really earned this. He's made a lot of sacrifices for this match in particular. And it's all worth it, Dave, when you hear this tremendous outpouring of support. And Dave, he'll have his name on that incredibly prestigious trophy with some of the greatest handball players that have ever lived.
What an amazing showing here for Daniel Cordova, winning his first collegiate championship in his last try, as he gets the hugs from the friends, the family, fellow teammates. Here's the replay of that final shot as Danny pushes it down the right. Martin can't get out of the block, turns around immediately and goes after the hug, and then sticks on the court just extra couple seconds to soak it in. An incredible match right there, played in front of all of these co-eds and sponsors and even handball fans at the Multnomah Athletic Club between Danny Cordova and Martin Mulkerrins. Martin's really had his way over the last 3 years, and that monkey seems to be off the back for Danny Cordova, who's had a great pro year. Now he throws this collegiate championship win into the mix with that 11-3 tiebreaker win against Martin Mulkerrins. What do you think it means for Danny to finally achieve this in his final year of college?
Well, I think it's even more satisfying for Daniel, who defeated a guy who beat him 3 years in a row in the final. And that's one of the hardest things to do in sports, is to beat somebody that seemingly has your number. So he went back, he trained, he was playing literally every day, traveling to as many tournaments as possible, and it all paid off for him as he just outplayed Martin Mulkerrins in this match, winning the first game 21-15. He dropped the second game 21-12, and he comes back to just dominate that tiebreaker. Just got all that momentum, got his serve going, and conquered his nerves and won the championship 11-3.
You're watching the Collegiate National Handball Championships here on ESPN and the Watch ESPN app. 63rd collegiates with the United States Handball Association. It is Danny Cordova taking down Martin Mulkerrins in both of their final years, and it was right here on the show court at the MAC Club in Portland, Oregon. Our reporter, the one capturing all of the video on this on the camera work here, Jeff Kastner, has Danny Cordova courtside. Hey, Danny, what does it mean to you to get this monkey off your back?
Oh, it felt nice. It was after the game, I kind of lower my shoulders, take a deep breath. I really wanted it. I don't know, my game improved. I don't know how it improved, but I gave a good jump from last year to this year, and I knew I had a good serve. Once I won, it's just a relief out of all the practice and out of all the hard work I put in. It kind of paid off.
Danny Cordova does it, Dave, as we say goodbye. It's been one heck of a great showing for the sport of handball as Danny Cordova wins the national championship for his team, Lake Forest, against Martin Mulkerrins in the tiebreaker, 11-3. I want to thank the United States Handball Association, Multnomah Athletic Club, sponsors, volunteers. Dave, I want to thank you, Jeff Kastner, with Kastner Productions for the film work, and all of those that helped put this together. My name is Dave Vincent. Thank you for tuning in to the National Handball Championships with the United States Handball Association.